what happens when people try to cross Gaza's borders? We wanted to find out how the blockade affects the everyday lives of both Palestinians and Israelis. Meet Youssef Nijim. Youssef is 53 years old and was born in Gaza. At 16, Youssef moved to Israel and settled in Jaffa. Since he was no longer listed on the population registry for Gaza, Youssef has been unable to visit his family for the past 6 years. But his mother's declining health forced Youssef to renew his efforts to go and visit her.
הלוואי, אני מקווה. הלוואי. לביקור. למה אימא מאוד מאוד חולה. כן, אני דרך הבת שלי פנינו, דיברתי עם הבחור הזה שאדי. אמרת, תעשה לי טובה, אני מאוד מאוד זקוק לראות את אימא מאוד חולה, אחרי שהביאו לנו סיכומי מחלה, לא יודע מה, פעמיים, 3 אפילו, פעם אחת דחו את זה, כי תאריך עבר, תאריך חדש, תאריך ישן, כל פעם היה סיפור אחר.
Youssef's daughter, Zakia, recalls Youssef's anguish at not being by her grandfather's side during his illness. A short time after the disengagement, Zakia's grandfather died, and because of the blockade, her father was not able to attend the funeral.
זה קשה מאוד, כאילו, גם אבא כעס על זה והוא לקח את זה בצורה מאוד מאוד קשה. כאילו אבא שלו נפטר והוא לא יכול ללכת אפילו לראות אותו כשהוא מת או להלוויה שלו.
Determined not to allow the same thing to happen again with her ill grandmother, Zakia turned to Gisha to help her with her father's case. In addition to assisting people in getting the relevant permits to go in and out of Gaza, Gisha is an organization that hopes to influence Israeli policy regarding freedom of movement. So what are some of Gisha's successes to date?
So we were successful in ending a ban on students from the West Bank studying in Israel. We were successful in ending a ban on Palestinian students in Gaza from traveling abroad. We were able to be influential in affecting policies restricting the entrance of goods into Gaza, banning silly stuff like coriander and shoes from entering Gaza. And right now we're trying to change the 3 remaining aspects of the closure in Gaza, which is the ban on export, the ban on construction materials, and the ban on people traveling from Gaza to the West Bank. We believe that those things should be allowed subject to individual security checks.
Shadi Batish was Youssef's caseworker in Gisha. He explains the circumstances for which one can apply for a permit to cross into Gaza from the Israeli military.
Of course, he can get this permit only if he's requesting to visit a first-degree relative who is pretty sick, and mostly only in these cases. Sometimes in weddings, if there's a wedding of a brother or a sister, which is a once-in-a-life event, people get a permit, but again, many times the wedding goes by and they don't get an answer, and it's very, very sad that, you know, because of the way that the requests are processed, people don't get these chances.
But eventually Youssef did get a 3-day permit to visit his mother. His mother lives with his 2 married brothers who take care of her. We asked his brothers to film the reunion between mother and son.
אמא חיבקה אותי כל הלילה. רצה שאני אנام ישן על ידה. כל הלילה, בוכה, לא ראיתי אותך אני במיוחד.
למה?
אולי בגלל שאני הבן הבכור שלה, זה מאוד טבעי. היא בכתה הרבה כל הלילה, וזה הלוואי שאתה על ידי, וזה... אמרת, אבל אני כל יום מדבר איתך בטלפון, כמעט כל שבוע, פעמיים מדבר איתה בטלפון. וזה לא מספיק. לשמוע זה לא כמו לראות. וזה מאוד קשה.
ستي ستي كيف حالك؟ زكية.
Meanwhile, Zakia finds it extremely difficult to explain to her grandmother why she couldn't go with her father to visit her. Because the policy only allows first-degree relatives to visit, Zakia's grandmother has never seen 3 of her great-grandchildren.
כאילו אני רוצה שכאילו ללכת, שהילדים שלי יכירו את המשפחה שלי ואת סבתא שלי וכולם, כאילו כל הילדים שלי הם מבקשים, הם רוצים לראות את המשפחה שלי, הם רוצים להכיר אותם. והם תמיד שואלים אותי למה אמא כאילו לא יכולים ללכת וזה. אין לי מה להגיד להם.
Our concern is that Israel is blocking not only those against whom it makes a security claim, but also against people like Zakia, against whom there's absolutely no security claim whatsoever, who are just trying to engage in normal family ties, or students who are just trying to study, workers just trying to get to their jobs. That's not about security. That's a political decision that we think is not only detrimental to the human rights of people trying to travel for good reasons, it's also not really good for Israel, because a healthy society is part of a better future. And if Israel is blocking the development of a healthy, prosperous society in Gaza, it's going to be bad for Israeli security in the long term as well. We have more immediate goals that seek to point to the inconsistencies in the policy. So for example, we're troubled by the fact that a person whose brother has died can travel to Gaza for the mourning period, but if his brother's child has died, he can't travel to comfort his brother. We think that doesn't make much sense, and we're trying to change that. Similarly, there are other policies that don't make much sense. Soccer players, football players are allowed to travel between Gaza and the West Bank, but students are not. Well, we think education is probably just as important as football, and so we think that they should also be allowed to travel.
An official at the Prime Minister's office responded to Bashi's claims by saying that comparing the circumstances of students to those of football players is totally unfair. He claimed that because students from Gaza would number in the thousands, giving a blanket approval would mean a security risk for Israel given the current situation. Seeing as Hamas also controls who goes in and out of Gaza, there is no doubt that Hamas would use such an approval towards hostile ends. Hamas puts its own hateful and extremist agenda above the well-being of the people of Gaza. Therefore, the official said, freedom of movement for students is in no way comparable to allowing the freedom of movement for 18 football players. The government official concluded by saying that he only wishes it wasn't so and that populations could move freely and peacefully. It seems Yosef too shares this dream.
אני רוצה שמצב כזה, שעשו חיפושים, עשו מה שהם רוצים, אבל לאפשר לאנשים שייכנסו. במיוחד שיש להם הורים, משפחות.
מה היית רוצה שיקרה? איך היית רוצה שהמצב ישתפר?
אני רוצה, קודם כל, אני בן אדם איש אוהב שלום, אוהב שקט. הכי חשוב, שכולם יהיו ביחד.